Okay, what if I told you that back in 1965, you could have bought a piece of this failing, basically forgotten textile company for just 19 bucks? Now, just imagine for a second, you hold on to that one single piece of paper. You hold it through recessions, market crashes, booms, everything. Well, today, that single share wouldn't just buy you a nice car. No, it would buy you a multi-million-dollar mansion.
Yeah, you heard that right. For just one share, you'd be sitting on over $500,000 today. Now, this isn't some crazy lottery ticket story. This is the almost unbelievable result of an investing machine built by one person, Warren Buffett.
And right there, that's the paradox that should keep every single one of us up at night. For more than 50 years, Buffett has laid out his entire playbook in his annual letters for everyone to see. I mean, the map to the treasure is public. So why, with the map right there in our hands, are most of us still just wandering around, totally lost in the woods?
Well, the answer is completely counterintuitive, and it has everything to do with how our brains are wired. See, we haven't failed because his strategy is too complex. We've failed because it's too simple. We're just conditioned to believe that a multi-trillion-dollar problem like the stock market needs some kind of complex, genius-level solution. Buffett's approach is so simple, it almost feels like an insult to our intelligence.
And this brings us to probably the most important distinction you need to wrap your head around. Simple is not the same thing as easy. I mean, think about it. Running a marathon is simple, right? You just put one foot in front of the other for 26.2 miles. But actually doing it, that's not easy at all. Buffett's method is exactly the same. The rules are simple to understand, but the emotional discipline it takes to follow them day in and day out, well, that's the really, really hard part.
So, let's break down the 4 pillars of this simple but not easy strategy. The first pillar requires us to just forget about all the flashing numbers on the screen. Seriously, it's not about stocks, it's about finding what he calls invincible castles. Buffett's first question isn't how much money does this company make, it's what protects this company from its competition. This is what he famously calls the economic moat, a durable, competitive advantage. And you should think of it just like a real moat protecting a real castle. He's not betting on one good quarter, he's betting on a structure that can defend itself for decades to come. This quote just perfectly captures his thinking. He's looking for a business that's so fundamentally strong, with a moat so wide, that it can actually thrive even if the leadership makes a few mistakes. Because, as he says, sooner or later they will. A business that relies on some superstar CEO is actually a really fragile business. You know, take Coca-Cola. On paper, it's just sugar water. So why is it one of Buffett's greatest investments ever? Because the real moat isn't the secret formula locked away in a vault. No, it's the piece of real estate the brand owns inside your mind. For over 100 years, competitors have spent billions trying to attack that fortress in our brains, and every single one of them has failed.
So, you've found your invincible castle. Fantastic. But listen, even the world's greatest business is a terrible investment if you pay too much for it. And this brings us to pillar number 2, the psychological battle of not just finding a great business, but taming your own emotions so you can buy it at the right price. Now, to master this, Buffett uses this incredibly powerful mental model that his mentor, Benjamin Graham, created. I want you to imagine you have a business partner. Let's call him Mr. Market. Every single day, he shows up at your door and he offers to either buy you out or sell you his half of the business. The only problem? He is completely emotionally unstable. Some days, he's just euphoric, screaming a ridiculously high price at you. Other days, he's terrified, whispering a ridiculously low one. Now, here's the thing. Most people let Mr. Market's mood dictate their own. They get greedy when he's euphoric, and they get scared when he's depressed. Buffett's genius is doing the exact opposite. He sees Mr. Market not as a guide to follow, but as an opportunity to be exploited. This all comes down to one of his most famous principles. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. The price is just the number Mr. Market is screaming today. It's his mood. The value. That's the true, intrinsic worth of the castle itself. Your entire job as an investor is to just wait, patiently, until the price he's offering is a total bargain compared to its actual value. And that gap, the difference between the price and the value, is what Buffett calls the margin of safety. The analogy is perfect. If you're building a bridge that needs to hold a 10-ton truck, you don't build it with a 10-ton capacity, right? Of course not. You build it with a 30-ton capacity. That difference is your margin of safety. In investing, it's about buying $1 of value for, say, 50 cents.
That discount is your protection against a future that you simply cannot predict.
But this creates a problem, doesn't it? If you're going to wait, maybe for years, for Mr. Market to offer you a great price, what are you supposed to do with all your cash in the meantime? Well, this leads us to Pillar 3, the hidden engine that powers the entire Berkshire Hathaway machine, a secret weapon that most people completely overlook.
The secret is Berkshire's massive insurance business. Just think about how insurance works for a second. You pay your premiums up front, but the insurance company only pays out if and when you actually have a claim. That giant pool of money that they hold in the meantime, all those premiums collected but not yet paid out, that's called the float. And here is the genius part. Buffett gets to invest this float for Berkshire's own benefit. And we're not talking about a little bit of money here. We are talking about over $160 billion. It's basically a massive loan that he pays zero interest on. And unlike a bank loan, nobody can call it back during a panic. It is the ultimate war chest, just sitting there, ready to be deployed when Mr. Market is absolutely terrified.
So, you've got your castle, you've waited for the right price, and you have this incredible cash engine. Now for Pillar 4, and this is the part that is psychologically the most difficult. This is the part that fights against every instinct we have in our fast-paced world, the superpower of doing absolutely nothing.
Buffett once joked that his preferred holding period is forever, and that Berkshire's strategy is lethargy bordering on sloth. You have to understand, in a world that glorifies constant trading and action and being busy, he knows a powerful secret. For a long-term investor, frantic activity is usually the enemy of returns. The goal isn't to be busy. The goal is to be right. And being right often requires doing nothing for years at a time.
And nowhere was the superpower more obvious than during the 2008 financial crisis. I mean, this wasn't just another bear market. It really felt like the end of the financial world as we knew it. As you can see on this timeline, pure panic turned into a full-blown crisis as Lehman Brothers collapsed and the entire global system just froze solid. This was the ultimate test of his philosophy. So what did he do? Exactly what he had been preaching for decades. While everyone else was panicking and selling, he calmly deployed that massive insurance float. He became the lender of last resort, injecting billions into iconic companies like Goldman Sachs and General Electric on terms that were just incredibly favorable to him. He was, in his own words, being greedy when others were fearful. So there we have it, the 4 pillars. Great businesses, bought at a great price, fueled by a hidden engine, and held with superhuman patience. But there is one final element, the real secret that multiplies the power of all the others. It's not a strategy, it's more like a law of nature. It's the snowball effect. I want you to just look at this chart. This might be the single most important chart in modern finance. Over 99% of Warren Buffett's entire net worth was earned after his 50th birthday. Just let that sink in for a moment. All the legendary stories, all the brilliant deals, they were just the foundation. The skyscraper of his wealth was almost entirely built in the second half of his life, thanks to the unstoppable force of compounding. This is the snowball effect in action. He started with just a small handful of snow when he was a young man. For decades, as you can see here, the growth was slow, almost boring, but he just kept rolling it. And then, in his later years, the magic of compounding took over. The snowball just grew exponentially, becoming an avalanche of wealth. The secret wasn't just finding the right kind of snow, it was having a very, very long hill to roll it down. And that right there is the ultimate paradox. Buffett's true genius may not be his intelligence, but his temperament and, frankly, his lifespan. He simply outlasted everyone, letting the incredible power of compounding do all the heavy lifting for him. The strategy is simple, but the timeline is hard. But you don't need to be a billionaire to start. You just need to find some snow at a long hill. So the final question is for you. Where will you start rolling?